Alright guys, so to finalize our color correction / color grading section of the Adobe Premiere Pro Masterclass, I have downloaded, or I have actually put a clip available for download in the resources section of this as per usual, and we're going to be running through another mini exercise on actually just how to improve this clip that I gathered about a month and a half ago when my town actually had a flash blizzard, and I actually met up with a local artist to film part of his music video, and this is the clip. Now I haven't actually attached any of the song to it. We're just going to focus on the visuals here. So if you download this clip, it will just be this solo clip, just the visuals of it. And overall, I think this is a great clip to actually go about color correcting and color grading as a final mini exercise, because I have already gone through this and edited through this particular footage and color graded it and color corrected it to my liking, so I know exactly what I'm going to do to this now when I can have a re-go at it with you guys. So without further ado, download the clip and we are going to get started. Now, the clip is, of course, if I give it a play, just a nice clip of this guy right here rapping, stood in the snow while it was kind of going crazy, and the blizzard was really out of control. But there's a couple key things about this shot that make it really good to actually go about color correcting and color grading. Number one is the fact that the snow was so bright, and this is the first snow shoot I'd ever done on my camera, that you can see how it's quite overexposed. Some of the white snow is really bright. Himself isn't too contrasted, and overall he's not super visible, and your attention isn't instantly rolling to him. It's kind of blurred out by the fact there's a lot going on with the blizzard and stuff like that. So what I would first do here, just to add a basic color correction, would actually be to start bringing that white balance down a little bit, and overall balancing out the highlights and how much is actually kind of creating this glow right here. So what I would first do with you guys right now is, once you've downloaded the clip and imported it, let's go ahead and open up our color panel and open up our basic correction tab in the color panel. And what I would first do is I would probably bring my highlights down, and you see how much of a difference it makes if I just bring those back up and give that a play. You see, so it's obviously super bright. You might not have even realized because it's the default color that it's come through with, but if we actually bring those highlights down, you instantly start seeing, we can see more of the forest in the background. He is a little bit more contrasted and overall a little bit less blurred out. You see, if we bring that back up, it is very bright now, and you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, how did we have that like that before? So it's definitely, first off, is I would 100% bring those highlights down, and that's going to be correcting the white balance, overall correcting the temperature of what we're seeing right here. And you can see instantly, if it's right like this, that forest in the background kind of blurs. But if we bring it all the way down, we're instantly starting to see some more detail on what's actually going on within this environment and this particular scene. And next, what I'd start doing, just to bring in more attention to those details, is actually just start bringing that contrast up a nice bit, right? Is start bringing that up to maybe about 50 or something like that, and overall just bringing in kind of like the richness of some of these colors. So if we bring that again back down, and then back up, that's just bringing in the richness of what's going on in this particular scene, okay? And that is seriously what I would do, guys, is I would go through and just start tweaking this stuff right here to create a basic color correction. Likewise, with the whites, I might bring those down, and the blacks, I might want to start trying to bring the blacks up. But you see, there's really not much black going on in this image, so even if we bring it all the way to the left, it's actually not doing a whole lot. So I might bring that just a little bit to the left. And already right here, we are starting to deal with a basic color correction. So if we are actually to go to the color correction, basic correction tab, and turn this particular guy off by unticking, we can see what it looked like before. So let's go ahead and have a look at that right now after we've done these basic adjustments and see what we've come from. So we've come from this right here, which is clearly overexposed, far too much, not enough contrast on him, not enough focus onto our actual artist himself. And now if we turn this basic correction layer on, instantly we're starting to see more of the forest in the background. He's standing out more compared to the really bright, overexposed snow, and we're starting to deal with a much nicer, crisper image, and we're starting to work with something much nicer here. So next, what I would move on to is actually coming down to the curves, especially on an image like this, which at first glance appeared overexposed. What we want to do is bring the richness of those colors out a lot. So what I would even first do is maybe start the S. You see how I told you guys about the S strategy, is I would maybe maybe start the S in the opposite way, seeing as there's already quite a lot of lights in this scene, okay? So I might want to start exploring what it would be like just to bring the darkness out more first, to then see how much I could go up from. So instantly when we start bringing this down, we're starting to see, again, more of the forest and more of the darks are coming through. And then if we just start bringing this up again just to create the S strategy and bringing this down again, we're creating much richer colors. So if we turn that off, everything's looking really flat right here. You could see, even though we've got our basic correction layer on, it's still looking pretty flat. But if we turn this curves on, now we're starting to see some green coming through here. We're starting to see this guy's colors much better. You see his face clearly a little bit red, which is natural because it was so cold out. We're starting to see his actual a little bit green in his jacket and his blackness in his trousers. And that richness is coming out now because of this curves layer that we've just added. And you can actually see how much of a difference that really makes, where you might not have even noticed this image needed much done to it because we were originally looking at just this basic image here. That's what we were originally looking at. But now you can see just with a basic correction and a basic curves added to that, we're starting to see a much more richer, much more accurate representation of, for example, what I was seeing while recording this, and not just what my camera has been capturing in the actual final format of my file. So now that I've actually gone through here and adjusted this, I would actually, before going to my creative, to do a final LUT, which is always what I do after coming through and following through with a curve, is for an image as bright as this, I would want to actually start bringing the vignette in, okay? So I'd want to bring that in and just start burning those edges off a little bit, because again, like I talked to you guys about, that is going to be bringing our focal point and bringing so much more focus into the middle of our shot. You see? So obviously that's a little bit too crazy, but something like this with the right amount of roundness on it to actually kind of singe those edges off is really nice. And without that, you can see it's quite bright still. With the vignette, we're instantly bringing focus into the center of our shot. And then to conclude this basic color grade and color correction, I would come up to my creative, I would open my looks up, and I would actually import one of these looks. So we could actually go ahead and go browse, guys, and import either our look that we did for our last mini exercise, which might work, but I have a sneaky feeling this is going to overexpose our image too much. But let's try this one quick. And yep, I was pretty correct. It has overexposed. However, I think we might be able to get away with dropping that intensity down to 50. And if we just go ahead and repeat that thing that we did before, guys, where we render in and out so we can actually avoid having to watch a laggy image. I'm going to let this render in and out, and now we're going to watch a brief example of what our color correction / color grade is done, and you can instantly see this is looking super nice. And if we actually just go ahead and duplicate this clip and just go ahead and delete the Lumetri color from the effect control from the second clip and put these side by side, we can let this one play out and then look at what it looked like before, which is insane how much color is not here and how much detail we're really just not seeing from this image right here. But then if we come to this image right here, instantly that's looking so much nicer, so much more cinematic, and so much more professional, like an actual music video would, or like an actual movie would, or just an actual scene in any reputable piece of content. But overall, this has been a mini example, a mini exercise rather, where we've walked through amplifying those colors so much more. This was our image at the beginning, guys. I can't even believe it. So that's the first frame of our original image. That's the first frame of our amplified, color corrected, and color graded image. It's not even comparable at all. Great job walking through this with me right now. And overall, guys, that is in essence the formula behind creating a nice color correction, and then obviously going on to grade that and amplify those colors and really take them to the next level.